That's my favorite sound. This is the marble technique. I have been doing it for about 2 years. It looks like something you plan. It isn't, or at least not entirely. You decide the colors, you decide how much to twist, and then the clay does what it wants. You just cut and find out. Today, I am also doing something I have never done before in a video. I am using Cernit Magic Mix for the first time on this slab. And I will tell you the full story of why that is significant. And why it took me this long to find it. Also, my mom is responsible for one of the designs you are going to see today. I will get to that. Work along if you have something going. This is a figuring it out kind of video. Welcome to episode 2 of my One Slab Multiple Design series, where I show you how I went from one polymer clay earrings design to another, using a single starter clay slab or design. The idea behind this series is that you can continue playing with the same slab and process it right after a design, rather than storing it for later. I like to do it like this because I do not have enough storage space for clay. And my experience so far with polymer clay, especially translucent clay, says that if a color scheme worked once, it will almost always also work with white or black. So, I am starting with Cernit translucent clay today, purple, and I am adding purple alcohol ink, white acrylic color, and gold leaf. If you have worked with Cernit translucent, you might already know it can be a nightmare. My first pack was a complete dud. It would not condition at all. I tried liquid clay, I tried Sculpey softener, I watched every video I could find. Nothing worked. And the frustrating thing was that I kept seeing other people online working with Cernit translucent like it was the easiest thing in the world. Beautiful results, smooth clay, no struggle. And I'm sitting there with what is essentially an unusable brick. It took months before someone in the polymer clay community finally gave me an answer. Cernit Magic Mix. It's a conditioning medium specifically for Cernit. It's not widely talked about, or at least it wasn't when I was looking. And it made an immediate difference. So today is the first time I'm using it on camera on this purple slab, and we are finding out together whether it is the answer I think it is. Now, one thing I should mention about this particular color choice. I used purple alcohol ink on purple translucent clay. And I thought, yes, that will give it depth. More purple, but with variation. looking really good here. So I cut the butterflies, thinking it would look something similar. What happened after baking is that the two purples blended together almost completely. You lose the definition, you lose the thing that makes marble look like marble. I should have also used more of white acrylic color. This is a lesson I keep learning. Sometimes you finish the piece even when it's not going the way you planned. You see what comes out on the other side. So after resin, they are still looking decent, so I'll keep them. Okay, these are the scraps from the purple slab. I know it's tempting to completely blend them or throw them away. Please don't. What I'm doing now is taking everything left from the purple slab, the offcuts, the bits I trimmed, the pieces that weren't right, and I'm marbling them with white clay. Just so you know, you will see this technique a lot of times in my videos. It's just my favorite technique. And that is so much better. The white pulls the purple apart. You get this lavender and white marble that has actual movement in it, which is exactly what the first slab was trying to do and didn't quite manage. The scrap version is better than the original version. And you might already know this. This happens to me more than I want to admit. There is something I have been thinking about with the marble technique specifically. It is not a technique for people who need to know in advance exactly what they are going to get. You can make educated guesses, you can control certain things, but ultimately you mix, you twist, you cut, and then you find out. That was hard for me at the beginning. I wanted to know what it would look like before I made it. Now I think the not knowing is actually the best part. You have to be willing to cut open the slab and just see. Now I want to show you these. These are the green translucent and white marble butterflies I have already made. They have been one of my best received designs. The green marble was my mom's idea. She is not a clay person, she doesn't make anything, but she was on a call with me once looking at what I was working on and she said, "What about green? Have you tried green with white?" I had not. I tried it and it worked in a way I did not expect. The Cernit translucent green has this particular quality. When you marble it with white, this almost sea glass effect comes. Cool and warm at the same time. My mom, who has never used Shopify, gave me my best selling color palette. Last design today. I'm combining the two. The purple white marble that I made in this video and the green white marble scraps from the other slab together into a flower charm for a hoop. I am so glad to have learned this technique in America, largely by accident, largely by failing first, largely because of people in online communities who answered questions I'd been sitting with for months. And I'm taking it back home to India at the end of the year. If you have been following my journey so far, you would know that I'm shifting from US to India at the end of the year. Now, this is purple, white, and green white together in one piece. Mom's color and my mistakes color. I personally do not like this, but as I said, translucent clay has its own mind. And here is the final result, which actually is far better than the unbaked clay I was seeing. The Cernit translucent problem took me months to solve. One answer from one person in a community changed everything. That's the thing about figuring things out in public. Sometimes the person watching has exactly the thing you have been looking for. If you have been having trouble with Cernit translucent and you have not tried Magic Mix yet, try it. And if you have found something else that works, tell me in the comments below. I'm still learning.